All right, traders. So a little something that we've been working on. It's been in the works for a few months. I've talked to a few people about it. I've got something to show you. It's a before and after. I had a customer when he came to me, and he's become a pretty good friend at this point. But when he originally came to me, he was using another pressing service, and we won't get into that, kind of an amateur pressing service, who had pressed his books, his first batch of books that were sent off to CGC for grading. I looked at the books and I identified some issues, and this is why I don't do pressing videos, is because it's so easy to mess up some of these great books. So I'm happy to do one-on-one tutoring, but I don't do pressing videos because I don't want somebody taking that information and misusing it to damage books. So he brought me some books that had been damaged, and they were graded damaged. He didn't know any better. So when he brought them to me, I identified some issues and had some that I knew I could fix, and I had some that I was thinking, oh, they're kind of borderline. Let's see what we can do. And we selected 15. He had like 20, 25 books. And we selected about 15 of them that we cracked, pressed, cleaned, and resubmitted. And that's what this video is going to be. So I filmed the first piece a few months ago. We sent them in March, April, something like that, long time ago. It's been close to a year. And they finally came back, so we're able to get the second piece. So we're going to show you the books and discuss a few of the issues with them. And then when I cracked them, I kept all of the labels. Of course, I send these in a big batch of CGC so they can be removed from the census. And then when they came back, Matthew, my friend, came over, and the second half of the video is him, myself, and Matthew looking at the books and comparing them and discussing them. And there's some great books as well. So I hope you enjoy the video, and it kind of shows you what the results of a repress and a crack and reslab can be. And I just thought it was an interesting before and after. So here we go. We're going to get right into the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more of this type of content, and look forward to seeing some new things after the first of the year. And as promised, here we are. We've got 15 books here that were given to me to crack, press, and resub. So we're going to show you the books real quick. This is the before, and then once they come back, the customer and I, hopefully the customer and I, are going to sit down and go over the new grades and compare the two. I'm going to keep the labels on hand, and we're going to do that. So getting right into it, we've got Thor 337, of course, first Beta Ray Bill, and these guys have the white Return of the Jedi backs on them. So a lot of soiling still on the books and some damage from a previous press that we're going to see if we can get out. The goal here is going to be to get hopefully 2 bumps in grade, and of course the tape will be after they come back. So that's a 9.2, and this one, same book, came in at a 9.0. And this has some significant damage from a previous press that I'm hoping to get out. So we've got those two, both with white pages. Next up has been a slow burn for quite some time, a couple of years in the making. We've got Nova, issue number 1. I'm hoping to get a 9.6. There's a little bit of foxing started on this. Hopefully I can get that arrested and get a little bit higher, but definitely hoping for that 9.6. This one at a 9.4. The next one, same book, Nova number 1, is at a 6.5. Significant soiling on the back, a couple finger bends that'll come right out. There are some breaking ticks and a rub on the front, but even with those, I'm pretty confident that we can do better than a 6.5. Of course, another big book. Popularity is just skyrocketing on this one. Some Kirby goodness. The Eternals, issue number 1. This is coming in at a 9.2 with some soiling on the back that will come right up all throughout the back of this. The monogram backs are notorious for that. So soiling like that on those 80s comics, white backs, very common, even if you keep them in a bag. So that one was a 9.2. This one at a 9.4. If we can get this to a 9.8, I will be super pleased. It's got just this smudge right here. A little bit down here. All of it soiling, no breaks, a couple non-breaking ticks. So high hopes for that one. Next up, a classic McFarlane cover. Absolutely one I've been looking for the personal collection. Batman number 423. That is Todd McFarlane's Batman key. We're at a 7.5. It does have some smudging there that, I mean, unfortunately in the white box that nothing can be done about. It looks like somebody's bacon fingers touched that and kind of messed it up. A couple micro breaks, but still I think we got room to grow on that one. So we're going to crack and press that one and see where we're at. Next, super popular 90s book, of course, Batman Beyond. Hard as heck book to find in a high grade. A lot of issues with the dark cover and the fact that it was a kid's book. So you see a lot of these sitting in that 7.0, 7.5 area. I see a lot of ticks, but nothing really breaking color. So hopefully, like I've got some color rubbed down here. That's nothing we can do for that. But I'm hoping to get a significant jump on that one. Of course, we can't promise what they will come back at. I'm not CGC, but I'm sure that we can do something. Then we have from the 90s Robin, issue number 1 in the 5-issue limited run. This is the A cover. Another book that's hard to find in a high grade because of all that red. It's got several ticks on it, none of them breaking color, maybe one with a micro. So biggest issue with this is some previous pressing damage on the top of the back of the spine there. So and it's significant. I mean, so we're hoping for some good things there. If I can get a 9.6, I would be pleased. From a more current, we've got Iron Man, issue number 9. Another hard book in high grade. A lot of black on that cover. Got some ticks on there that's going to come out. We'll see what we can do there. This one, highly sought after, extremely popular McFarlane cover. Hulk. This is issue number 340 with Wolverine. You got Mr. Fix-It in the claws reflected there. 9.2. It's got some of that pressing damage on it. Most of these books do. It's almost got a spine roll in it from the press. So we got some ticks that'll come out. So we're sitting at a 9.2. 9.6 would be outstanding on that one. That would be a 2-grade bump. Then we got a couple classic Swamp Thing covers. Both of these came in at a 9.2. Swamp Thing, issue number 25, just a classic cover. It's got the AD&D back on it, which is notorious for picking up soiling around the edges. So, it is what it is. And just so you guys are curious, if these weren't being cracked and resubbed, I'd have gloves on right now. I can't stand getting fingerprints on somebody else's slabs, but since the slabs are going in the trash by the end of the day, I'm not too concerned about it. And then we have another one, another 9.2. So those are going to be easy to compare. Hopefully we get a matching set of 9.8s. That would be outstanding, but I'll settle for some 9.2 or 9.6s out of it. So there you go. And then the last two books, super hot run right now. Everybody's after them. Star Wars. This is from the Marvel 70s and 80s Star Wars. They have the awful Spalding back on them. A lot of white on that back that picks up soiling like crazy. This one's a 9.2. We'll do some cleanup around the back there. It's hard to show it on the camera, I know, but quite a bit of soiling around there. So I think that we'll do good things there. That is a number 2 30-cent Marvel cover. Of course, there's tons of variants on those early Star Wars. And this one is the number 1. This is the 30-cent cover, 7.0. Again, has the Spalding back, and I'll see if you can really see, even on camera where it's not that easy, you can see up at the top here a lot of soiling that'll clean up. We got some pressing damage. That's so unfortunate. A 7.0, we should be able to press that out into a much higher grade, and I think we'll be real pleased with the results on that one. So those are 15 books that we're about to crack, press, and resub. This is going to be a long video in the making. So next we will go into the return books and kind of see where we're at after the CGC resub. So we'll see on the other side, folks. All right, trader. So it's been several months, as you can tell. I was able to grow out a full beard in the time we got these books back from CGC. I've got Matthew with me. Matthew's an important part of our Utah comic crew. Hangs out at Black Cat Comics with me and shops at the local shops. They're his books, and we just got them back from CGC. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull them out and see what grades we got and kind of compare those to the tags that we kept. Now, if Matthew's okay, I'm going to be sending these into CGC. So these will come off of the census. So it's not going to spoil the census. And then, of course, the new labels will have the new tracking and have the new serial numbers to populate the census. So it kind of just keeps that process pure. All right. So our first book that we're going to talk about now, a lot of these books, I don't know a lot, but some of these books are going to be going to Matthew's eBay store. And that's scrolling down across the bottom. So if you're interested in purchasing the books that he's going to have available, please go check him out on eBay. 100% seller rating, and you can pick up the books there. What you typically do is you will fast track one book in an order.
Yeah, so I've been doing that because back when it took CGC a million years to log in the books and you're waiting 3 months for your books to log in,
right?
I couldn't stand that. So the trick was that if you sent in the same package one express order, with a regular order, that would get all your books checked and logged in and actually get them in the queue a little bit faster. That seems to have changed recently because they've caught up and they're getting books logged in right away now. So I've stopped doing that. But at the time we did these, I was sending in an express order.
So the first book, Invincible Iron Man number 9, this is the variant. Of course, it's the first Riri Williams. It was a real hot book at the time that you gave them to me to crack and press.
Yeah.
So that one originally was a 9.4. Got that one back at a 9.6. He fast tracked it, and that one is currently available on the eBay store, on Matthew's eBay store. So you can go to, again, that URL at the bottom of the screen and pick that up.
And I would just say that's a huge bump on that book, a 9.4 to a 9.6.
Right.
I mean, that's like $1,000 bump in that book. Yeah. So I mean, it's huge. I mean, that one bump in that one book.
Yeah, and I think kind of across the board, your moderns, you'll see that, right? Where the difference between, especially 9.4 and 9.6.
Yeah. That Turcotte variant is just so tough, and it's a dark cover, just so tough, and just so hot right now that even a small bump. So just congratulations on that one.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Yeah, a real nice one there. And I think, and you said that was the only 9.6 that you've seen.
No,
or was that another book we were looking at?
At the time there was only 9. There are some 9.8s on eBay right now.
Right.
I mean, people are asking $5,000 for a 9.8 on that book.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
And of course, Riri only going to heat up as we progress. I'm an episode behind on Hawkeye, so I'm not going to talk about Hawkeye. But I hear she's supposed to be showing up possibly in Hawkeye, definitely in the new Black Panther. So something to look forward to. All right, so the first book we have is that Batman Beyond. We saw that came in at a 7.0 originally.
Yeah.
And it's the first comic appearance of Batman Beyond.
How do you want to do this? So you can pull this
that's
out.
fine.
You can see this is great because this is the thing about this book is it's the newsstand, and that's why it was so tough. You can see it has the newsstand UPC there at the bottom. That's part of what made this book so tough. But I mean, huge bump.
Right.
7.0 to 8.5.
Yeah, typically if I'm cracking and repressing a book, if it's a book that's been pressed previously, I'm ecstatic to get a one grade.
Yeah.
So to get 3 grade bump on it. So for those of you that don't understand how that flows, if you're below a 9, they go in half grade increments. So you go from 7 to 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, and then, or no, that's not right. 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5. When you hit 9, then they go by 2. So it's 9, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, and then 9.9 and 10. So when we say a grade bump, we don't mean a full point. We mean the difference between a 7.0 and a 7.5 is 1 grade. So this would be a 3 grade bump on that book.
Yeah, three grade bump. And like you said, Eric, this one already pressed. So that's just really impressive. So,
yeah, there was a nice roll on it from the previous press, so we were able to get that out, and that one worked out pretty good. So, and it's super hot book too. I mean, I think DC is really under the radar right now. I think we're going to see a lot of in the next year. We're actually starting to see the DC stuff creep up.
I think now is a great opportunity on some of those DC books. They're definitely not as hot as the Marvel books, and so you want to be careful with DC books for sure. But there's a lot of opportunity for books, for DC
sure.
books. Yeah.
All right, so the next one up is a Marvel Star Wars #1, and it's from the New Hope 1977. Is that right? Yep. Yeah. 1977. Yep. And this is the 30-cent copy. Originally was a 7.0, and we got that one up to a 7.5. So a full grade bump on it.
Yeah.
And I believe, yes, this is the one that had the Spalding back, and there was some soiling. There was quite a bit of soiling up in the top there that we had mentioned in the previous video. So yeah, really, really pleased. I think what probably did that one is we were able to get the wrinkles out of the spine on the back, and that little bit of soiling didn't hurt for sure.
Yeah, it's just a great, and it looks beautiful. I mean, it's a 7.5, but it really, really presents well.
It does.
So it's a nice.
And
copy.
again, a newsstand.
Yeah. Yeah. Super happy. I mean, another book where just even a grade bump 7 to 7.5 on this book, is a significant increase in value. So it's great. Nice.
All right, and next up, also from 77, Star Wars issue #2. This was originally a 9.2, retained its 9.2, and that one also had a bunch of stuff going on. I get concerned because when we press these, the spine looks great. And I mean, this has got some color breaking ticks on it that of course we got the ticks out, but you can't get the color breaks out, and that's why it retained a 9.2.
Yeah.
And it's funny because some of these books ended up retaining the same grade but changed page color.
Yeah, that's great. We had a couple where we got a bump from off-white to white,
right,
which is pretty amazing. I mean, to see that happen in I don't know what in the cleaning process can do that, but
what it is a lot of these, especially the older books, especially your books, mm-hmm. I will chamber. Okay. And my process of chambering has the tendency to get some nicotine staining off.
Yeah.
That may be causing some issues,
yeah.
and helps arrest foxing and stuff like that. So it's typically not something that I do, but I do it with your books.
One thing about this, really cool about this book too, is a lot of people don't realize that Star Wars #2 is the first appearance of Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So this is a, Star Wars collectors, go after #1, but don't leave behind this #2 if you see it, because it has a couple of those other really cool first appearances. So,
well, there was 3 or 4 New Hope books. Was it 3? I think there were 3 New Hope books, and all of those are going to have first appearances in them, right? So #1, you got Luke, the droids, Leia, Darth Vader. You got Chewbacca. You got Han in 2. You've also got Greedo in 2. And a few others. And I'm sure 3's got, I don't know, the power droid, Imperial power droid or something in it.
yeah.
All right. So next up, we've got Thor #337 from '83. That one was a 9.2. So we actually have 2.
We have 2 of these.
Yeah, we got 2 of those. So the 2 that we have were a 9.2 with white pages and a 9.0 with white pages.
So we can pull the other one out here.
And I would assume that we go the lower grade would pair up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no way of knowing for sure.
So we went to from a 9.0, a 9.2 to a 9.4, 9.6. That's astounding.
Wow.
For books that were already pressed.
So 9.0 to a 9.4, that's a 2 grade, and 9.2 to a 9.6 is a 2 grade bump.
Yeah.
So anytime you get a 2 grade bump on a crack and repress, over a 9 is just phenomenal. I try to get 1 grade bumps, and we got 2 on both those. So extremely hard back to deal with as well on those books. Like all those mid to late 80s backs, the Spalding back, the OJ back.
Yeah. So this one just
Star Wars back.
Says the Star Wars back.
Like they're horrible for soiling.
Yeah. All that white on the back just loves to gather dirt, right?
There's one, and we may actually have one in here, and a lot of your books have it. There's the art back where it says, send your thing off to become an artist.
Yeah.
For some reason, that is the dirtiest back in comic history. That one just gets horrible.
Wow.
All the time. All right. So next up, we've got from 1976, Nova #1.
We've got 2 of these.
We got 2 of those. They came in originally, both with white pages, a 6.5 and a 9.4.
Okay, so let's do the 6.5 first.
So we went from a 6.5 to an 8.
Yeah. So
and with the direction the MCU is going right now, you're going to see Nova. I mean, it's all cosmic at this point. So a lot of that Avengers stuff.
They're using the character, whether it's Sam Alexander or Richard Rider or some other character. Right. He's gonna show up. It's a matter of time.
Yeah, I would think it would just about have to be.
And so this is the pull out here. This is the 9.4. So we got up to a.
So we got a single grade bump on that one, over a 9.
Yeah.
I mean, can't complain about that at all.
And once again, with these Bronze Age books like this, I mean, going from a 9.4 to a 9.6, it's a huge bump.
Yeah, especially a major key.
Yeah. So that's really happy. 6.5 and 9.4 to 8.0 and 9.6. Great. Really happy with that.
All right. So next up, we've got 2 Saga of the Swamp Thing 25. Now this is a Jason Blood appearance.
It's also, I think,
it's a Constantine, isn't it?
I think it's the first cameo of John Constantine.
That's right.
It doesn't look like it's noted on the case, but generally I think that's what it's considered to be.
So these both were at a 9.2. One was white and one was off white.
Yeah, this is one of these got a bump. One of these was I think the label says one of those was off white to white, and on one of these they both came back with white pages. So one of these got a bump on the page quality.
That is very cool. And that's just a really cool classic cover that we're kind of now just starting seeing swipes for.
Yeah.
And I did watch, there was an interview with Keanu Reeves, and he was asked if he could redo any character that they will not let him redo. Who would it be? And he said Constantine. So who knows? It may happen again. If you have Keanu attached to it, it's gonna take off.
Yeah.
All right. And next we've got Eternals #1 from '76.
Okay.
We got a 9.2 with off-white white pages and a 9.4.
Okay. So we've got 2 of these back. Let's pull these out. So both of these came back 9.4 with white pages.
Very nice.
So we got another. One of them got a bump, and one of them got a page quality bump.
Right on.
So once again, these Bronze Age books are so tough.
Turned them into twins.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So these are great books, and super happy.
I mean, timing on that one's pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, with the movie, we've actually on our store sold a couple Eternal #1s. And honestly, we've actually sold one since the movie ended. People are still looking for some of those Eternals books because those characters are coming back, and some people may have not been thrilled with the movie. I thought it was great, but people are still looking for some of those Eternals keys, and now might be a good time to pick up some of those too. That you'd likely not to see those characters for a little while. People are going to forget about it. I expect prices will go down a little bit until they come back around. So if you like Eternals,
I would think, and to me, I kind of see the writing on the wall that now we're going the next couple of years. I think we're going to hear a lot about Kirby.
Yeah.
We're starting to hear a lot about Kirby. A lot of people are realizing how important he was to comic books and Marvel Comics and all these characters. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? OMAC? OMAC is just shooting out of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that Kirby DC stuff, there's some really, the New Gods, and, if they can ever find the right creator and do those stories, there's a lot of potential there. Mr. Miracle, and even like you said, the OMAC. There's a lot of that Kirby 70s stuff. It's funny because we saw that in like the Thor: Love and Thunder movie, the Ragnarok movie, how some of the Kirby weirdness translate. When you have a great creator like James Gunn or Taika Waititi, who can do those weird fun movies, some of that Kirby weird stuff, all the machines and the Kirby crackle and all that stuff can actually translate to some really fun, cool, outrageous movie stuff that people love. So
yeah. I would kill to see a Kirby based, maybe a Taika Waititi driven, like HBO Max series, like an ongoing forever. People would be great. New Gods would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic. Give it a budget so that you can do some of the cool special effects.
Right.
But a lot of that, like you said, a lot of that Kirby stuff is has that kind of a space-based stuff to it. With those space-based stories, you can really do some wild, fun, crazy stuff. So,
and I would not be surprised if we see some of the Green Lantern stuff kind of getting into some of the Kirby stuff.
Yeah, well, there is a Green Lantern HBO Max TV show coming out. So
that's what I mean. I would not be surprised to see some of that moving over.
Yeah, could be. I hope so.
All right, so next up we've got from 1988, Incredible Hulk 340. Of course, that classic cover. Yeah. We were at a 9.2, so we got a grade bump out of it.
Yeah. So
white pages.
Yeah. So this is just a like you said, an amazing McFarlane cover, and 9.2 to 9.4 is great value increase in this book, and this is a book that people want in any grade. Right. You have this book in a 7.5, and people want it. I mean, this is a book that people want in their collections because it's just an iconic cover.
Yeah. And one that gets swiped a lot.
Oh yeah,
I see a lot of those.
Yeah. It feels like almost every month there's another homage or swipe that is I think that's using the reflection in the claws.
Right.
So really cool.
And then we have from 91 on to DC, we've got Robin issue #1.
Yeah. So this is this really rare, it's a second print newsstand. So this is a tough book to find, and the way you can tell that is it has a little white, The Adventure Begins, and then you see the little UPC newsstand. So that's why we graded this book, is it's just a really rare second print newsstand. And we didn't get a grade bump, but you got to roll the dice,
yeah,
on some of these. So we got grade bumps on almost everything, but this one still happy,
Yeah, I mean, it's worth having. And I would think anything above an 8.5 in that book is going to get your money back for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, the book that I've been looking all over for, I need one of these in my personal collection.
Yeah.
Was Batman number 423. Yeah. We got a 7.5 white pages. Didn't get the bump on it.
Yeah. So this is one of the other few ones we didn't get. Almost all the books we got a bump. This one we didn't, but that's when you roll the dice on books that have already been pressed once and you're cracking and pressing it, you're doing a second press on them. It's amazing the grade bumps we did get. So
right.
This one's still a cool book. Took a shot at getting a 8.5 or 8, and didn't get it, but still looks nice.
And that's a book that was not really overly printed.
Yeah.
So and we're seeing, of course, Todd McFarlane gaining a lot of popularity recently.
Yeah.
And that's one of his best pieces.
This is a book kind of like that other McFarlane cover that just people want, and people want this book in their collection. And, even if you have this book in a low grade, people want it. If you're looking to move this book, you can always move this book. And the prices just keep going up and up, even for low grades. And this is like that other. People just want it. They don't. Some books it really matters. It's either 9.8 or bust. But this is a book where it's just such a classic, iconic cover that people just are going to want. And this is another cover that's been homaged quite a bit. Like there's a famous Spawn homage to this one that's very popular. But yeah, great book, and happy to have this one on our collection.
Yeah.
For sure.
So overall, I mean the bumps that we got were really big. I think we're talking thousands of dollars on a couple of these books for sure. So I'm not where the books were previously pressed, and it's a testament to the difference between a lot of people will ask me, should I get a book pressed? Should I not? Does it matter? And it really does. I mean, the value of these.
Well, and Eric, I want to give you some credit. I mean, I think I pulled out maybe 30 books and had you look at them, and you handpicked these as ones that, even though they were already pressed, had a shot at getting a grade bump. So, it was your eye in the beginning that you were able to look at those books, and there were several of them when you said, no, that, we're not going to get a grade bump. But I mean, that's a pretty good eye to, look at a set of books and pull them out and have a 10 out of 14 get a grade bump. That is pretty, or grade bump or page quality increase. That was pretty good, pretty amazing. So, I definitely trust your eye when it comes to whether I should crack and resub a book. So,
well, I don't think. I mean, at this point, you press everything before you send it in.
Yeah,
I mean everything, absolutely.
I think the only thing there's a couple metal covers I haven't pressed, but yeah, pretty much everything. Just, I mean, my feeling is when you're grading a book, you're really hoping that book's going to be worth $150, and that's my kind of opinion for most books. I mean, maybe $100 for some of them, but you're really looking at something that's worth hundreds of dollars. And an investment of $15, or I don't know what the pressers charge, anywhere upwards, I guess, of 25. Some pressers charge, but an investment of a small amount of money in a book that you hope is going to be worth $100 or $500 or $1,000 is a small investment. So I mean, that's why I pretty much press everything that I'm going to grade.
Yeah, I've got a nerd store. Nerd store has me press everything before they send it in, and they'll give me things that I'm like, are you sure you want me to press this? Because I can press it, but it's going to get a 9.8 if I don't press it, or I can do it anyway. Just make sure. So
it's the value is definitely there. It's a part of the hobby that I didn't understand 20 years ago, and probably a lot of people didn't, but it's really exploded. And you know more about, you're the expert on the pressing. I'm not, but you could just see the results. I mean, you just see, you just see the results that, you know, you're going to get higher grades if you press your books for most things. And the money isn't huge. It's not like you're spending $100 to press a book generally.
Right.
So maybe if you send in and use CGC's in-house pressing, you know, they may take 18 months to press your book sometimes, and charge you an arm and a leg. But
yeah, and I am one that I will never talk down or talk bad about an individual presser. I won't do it. Even if I see bad work, I'm not going to run the presser down because I know what goes into that process. But never have CCS touch your books.
Well, it's just going to wait a long time, probably.
Well,
right?
it'll take forever, and I've seen a lot of aggravation from CCS that a normal presser won't get. So overall, I think an independent presser, and it gives you an extra set of eyes on the book too.
Oh yeah,
because no matter what we think our book is worth, and you see it all the time, this book's in perfect condition, and I can point out the flaws.
No, that's
you
great.
Can point out the flaws.
I think that's great. I mean, a great point you make. Oftentimes, I'll bring you a stack of books, and I'll ask you to press them, and I'll have gone through the books, and you'll give me back a book with a sticky note that says, "Hey, are you sure you want to grade this one? I found this defect on it." And I mean, that's a great thing. I mean, no one has a perfect set of eyes, and having a second set of eyes on a book, someone who's an expert. I mean, it's great for me to pre-screen the books and learn about the process, but that's getting that feedback is really valuable, especially when you're working hard. You're comic book collectors. We're trying to get the best grades we can, and we're trying to improve our collections. And so having someone give a second set of eyes on a book before you grade it is really valuable. So. Yeah.
All right, so that's where we're at, traders. You saw the before and after, and we're going to stitch all this together and make one super long, probably not watchable video out of it, and just to kind of give you an idea of the process and what goes into the thought process of pressing, cracking, and resubbing specifically your books. So for now, I'm going to call it quits at that. Because we got a little bit of other business to take care of, and I will talk to you later, traders.
Thanks.